NIO will start deliveries of its most affordable sub-brand Firefly later this year in 2025, and the price point with battery as a service could be cheaper than 14,000 US dollars. Here's the tweet. I mentioned this in a recent video that I did, that I found a tweet talking about this. Firefly also supports the BaaS, or battery as a service solution, which will be priced at about 100,000 yuan after implementation. Now, this is not from NIO. This is no official announcement, but this 100,000 yuan price point converts to about 13,600 and some US dollars. So less than 14,000 US dollars for this vehicle, this most affordable. It's not going to be a cheap make or model. NIO doesn't do cheap, but it will be a small vehicle, and it will be, I think, a key driver for global expansion for NIO. And that's one of the reasons that I was kind of curious to look at this when we saw this data, the MIIT announcement with some of the specs. We've got the battery supplier as Sunwoda. And the reason, there were a couple of reasons I was curious about that. First off, I wanted to go over to the NIO Capital site to see if William Li, as managing director, had already identified this company. And that's one of the reasons that NIO is working with them. A lot of times what we'll see is that NIO will partner with some of these companies. CALB is another battery supplier that they've done business with. And that is after originally using CATL. They still do business with both. But now what we've got is Sunwoda also as a battery supplier for and across the NIO brands. And this is the other reason I was kind of wondering about this. I'm not sure if anything will come of this, but I did see this the other day. So with CATL possibly getting blacklisted or maybe having trouble, maybe this will slow some of the Chinese EVs coming into the US. If, I have no idea if there will be anything made of this, but it's just something to track. However, again, coming back to Firefly, with the most affordable price, with the battery as a service option of less than 15,000 US dollars, probably less than 14,000 US dollars, and the battery supplier not on any kind of list. So it looks like NIO is once again positioned for the future and is well ahead of others, even if people are still not recognizing it. I love it. And for kind of a reference point, they did the same thing with Onvo, where NIO did not announce the BaaS prices at first. They just announced kind of the pre-sale pricing, which was about 30,000 US dollars. Later, they announced the battery as a service price, and that dropped the overall price to about 21,000 US dollars. So with Firefly and its starting price being about $21,000, I was just wondering how low can they go with this pricing with the battery as a service. It's going to be really fun to watch this play out, but that's the first time I've seen kind of a reference, and that account, Chris, sometimes has some insights that do play out. So I wanted to share it here. Also, before I leave, because we are a little over 1 hour into the trade day, so we'll do I just want to point out a couple of things. NIO and Alibaba, I did a video talking about those both recently as well. And then I just wanted to share this. The 30 minutes before open, obvious sell-off, it looks like to me. Maybe algos are set to do this on the last two trading days that we've had for NIO Stock, and not just NIO Stock, but also Alibaba. There's the 30 minutes before, 30 minutes before, almost like this stuff is just preset. When does this shift? When does this change? Good question, a fair question. Some folks who are a lot more experienced and better at this stuff than I am, have a lot more seasoning, are thinking that after the inauguration, we will see things trend up for Chinese stocks. I don't know if that's the case. I'll keep tracking things and kind of nerding out on the research, kind of in line with what I do, but I wanted to offer that and share that as well. Have a great Friday, and I'll see y'all again very soon.